Well, thank you very much. I am Masui from the National Institute for Environmental Studies. Thank you for inviting me today, and thank you for very valuable input so far. How are we going to deploy these important initiatives on the ground? I'd like to give you my perspective from the viewpoint of research. In order to create decarbonized society here in Japan, we have a tool to support other countries, which is modeling. So what are the initiatives that are necessary for decarbonized society? Energy saving, electrification, decarbonized power supply, and because it has to be net zero, we have to address the greenhouse gas emissions outside of the energy sector, and also we have to address the demand side, inducing behavioral changes, and etc., etc. Yet, it's not easy to have zero carbon emission. Therefore, we need to have innovative technologies at the same time, alongside with all those measures. And also, support of developing countries is another important element, because this is a global issue. We need to design a decarbonized society across the globe, which means we need to support initiatives on the part of developing countries. So today our focus is developing countries. But what about Japan? How can we realize decarbonization by 2050 in Japan? We have an analysis. If you are interested, you can take a look at our material, which is posted on our website. But when it comes to support of developing countries, eventually we have the same goal. The goal is common across different countries. However, we have different situations. Therefore, the pathways are also different towards the goal. For instance, the level of economic development, and also what kind of resources are available, what is the climate conditions, and what about the social conditions. They are all different. Therefore, each country, each region has a different situation, which means that we have to customize our analysis to meet the needs of each country. So against this backdrop, how can we approach developing countries in order for their decarbonization? There will be an example to be introduced about Vietnam. We have discussions going on in Vietnam already, but initiatives are not sufficient yet. Decarbonization by 2050 has not been declared, and the discussion is still focusing on when to peak out and what kind of impact may be expected if the peak out is brought forward. So that is the center of the discussion as of now. So given that in each region, so how can we raise the ambition of NDC for 2030? How can we share our know-how and technologies that are available here in Japan? These are very important discussion. This is just to advertise what we are doing at the Research Institute. We are supporting developing countries for over 20 years by now, and especially support for formulation of long-term strategy. We are working together with Vietnam, Thai, and Indonesia through modeling to come up with quantification of carbon emission. For Vietnam, in August of this year, the Ministry of the Environment and the Ministry equivalent in Vietnam have signed this a joint ministerial statement, and in which there is a description of developing long-term strategy with Japan's support. So within this framework, there are many different models that can be used to have quantification of emissions and eventually to realize decarbonization, or to create roadmap of actions. So that can be presented, and on top of that, not just presenting such roadmap or action plan, we also support human resources development, capacity building, and also a variety of stakeholders will give us input as to what are to be done. in each country and region toward decarbonization. So because I have just limited time, I'm hoping to share as a result of such projects on a similar occasion. That is all from me. Thank you for your kind attention.